Hello, everybody. Once again, welcome to My American Dream. My name is Rolando Alfaro. Welcome. So, last time we talked about how I'm going to be retooling this from being more of a self help to what my American Dream is. So, that's going to entail a lot of things of me growing up, things that most people will take for granted or things that you really don't get to see very much of, coming from somebody who, was raised in a different country, then moving here and having that culture shock of having things being completely different and completely alien. Well, that happened to me. I came from, like I said last time, a place where we were affluent. We were good. We came from a place of having lots to being here and having nothing. So that was a shock in itself, but not necessarily a negative thing because I don't feel it was negative on my part. I don't remember ever feeling like I lacked anything or that I really needed anything. Sure, there were things I wanted, but that's life, like anything else. There's always stuff you want. But what I want to talk to you today is how parents are very, very different across cultures. That even though, we came from El Salvador here, Hispanic country, land and country, and we came here, how parents still maintain that mindset that they had from when they were there. And they bring that here. And they treat us, their children, the same. That doesn't change. You hear a lot of jokes, you see a lot of memes, videos about, Mexican parents and their chanclas, their flip flops, and how, that's the dread of most children growing up, right? Because, you do some wrong, mom takes it off, and if you try to run away, mom throws it, and it doesn't matter where you're at, it'll follow you, and pop, you get smacked in the head, and there you go. Well, that happens quite a bit, and it's true. My mom used to chuck a lot of stuff at us growing up when she would get upset, because sometimes we kids get out of hand, and I don't blame her. One time, I forgot to take out a chicken, and I had a frozen chicken tossed at me. How many kids can say that their parents threw them a frozen chicken? Not many, but whatever. I'm not trying to say that my mom was mean or whatever. No. She was just, a single mom trying to do her best for her children. And sometimes we didn't help. That can happen to anybody, I guess, having a frozen chicken tossed at you. So, just things like that. But going with the discipline, there's just one story that I want to share with y'all. And it's pretty embarrassing. Because a lot of times Hispanic parents, they're known for corporal punishment of their children. My mom, man, it was all bets off, straight up psychological warfare sometimes. I mean, the lady used every book and the trick to keep us in line. And I thank her for that because she's helped me turn that into who I am today. A abiding citizen that, likes to stay on this side of the law rather than on that side. So I was in 7th grade. We just moved to a new place, a few cities north, closer to San Francisco. That's where we grew up, the Bay Area. South San Francisco, that's what I consider my hometown. So anyways, while there, my mom told me not to sag. I grew up in the mid-90s. Early 90s, I was in middle school, late 90s, high school. So 7th grade, here I am, I used to wear basketball shirts under all my pants. Always had basketball shoes on because you never knew when you were going to play, right? You can't tell that, but look at me now, but I love playing basketball. Anyways. So my mom used to take the bus to work because it's much easier than driving. Any of you that have been to the Bay Area, you know how horrible that traffic is. It is bad. Horrible. So she would commute on the bus, it would be much easier. So that day, she took a later bus because she didn't have to be work early. And I didn't know that. So the way the bus worked is there was a park between my house and the middle school. And to get to the middle school, I would walk through that park. Well, the bus route would follow the outside of that park. And from the bus, you could see the entire park and anybody in there and anything that happened. Well, it just so happens that I happened to leave the house, walk through that park as my mother's going in that bus. And so once I get to the park, I'm thinking, I'm away from home. Nobody can see me. So I pull my pants down a little bit, I have basketball shorts under. You can't really see anything. So I sag my pants. Excuse me. My mother sees this. So it was football season, and I played football in high school. It was like football in middle school. But whatever. We'd stay there. We played. I would practice. So I didn't go home till about 6:30, 7 p.m. that evening. That's how long practice went, a couple of hours. Plus, afterwards, you just stay and play with friends, right? So I get home, and any Latin kid, any Hispanic knows that when you hear your full name, it is your debt to rights. You better say your prayers and make sure that you have a clean conscience because you might not wake up the next day. That's what it was with me. My mother calls me by my full name. Rolando Ernesto Velasquez Alfaro, come here. In Spanish. So I'm like, what did I do? What did I do? So I'm sitting there freaking out, what did I do? Oh my gosh, I'm dead, man. I'm a dead man. She called me by my full name. What am I going to do? So I get upstairs. I get to my room, kind of pale. And I feel like I have a lump of steel in my stomach. My stomach's dropped 10 feet. I'm like, get there. I put on this smile. I'm like, oh, hi, Mom. How are you? You have a good day at work? She's like, where are your pants? I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, where do you keep your pants? And, I told her my dresser, which drawer had my pants. Okay, what about your dress pants? Dress pants. They're in the closet hanging here. I showed her, so she had two black garbage bags. And she started filling them in with all my pants. Anybody knows that any kid, between the ages of 12 and 15, we grow a lot and quickly sometimes. Well, I used to have a lot of growth spurts, so she pulled out two old pair of jeans, a pair of Levi's and a pair of Lee's that I hadn't worn, in maybe a year because I had outgrown them. But because I was playing football, I dropped some weight so they would fit around my waist. But they were tighter than my own skin. So my mom decides to punish me instead of, doing the old Salvadorian parenting technique, true and tried of, let's get the belt. She decides on doing something different, which was far worse, in my opinion, than just giving me the belt. What she did was horrendous, and it has scarred me. I was psychologically traumatized for many years after this, in the sense that I did not wear jeans until I was about 24 years old. From the age of 13 to 24, no more jeans. No more. And this is why. What she did was, she made me put on these jeans who were tighter than my own skin, barely put them on. She let me keep the tightest fitting of the two, which was the Lee's. And then for the next 2 weeks, her punishment was that's all I had to wear. Literally, wash and wear. It didn't matter where we went. It didn't matter what I did. It didn't matter any of that. None of that. Those jeans were the only pair of pants I had to wear for the 2 weeks. Now, you can imagine I go to a school that's full into hip-hop. Baggy clothes. Sagging. Right? I show up looking like a cowboy out of Texas. Basketball shoes. Jeans that are tighter than my own skin. And oh my gosh. I got picked on a lot as it was, and that just made it worse. I got picked on a ton. I even got beat up almost every day, in the locker room because of those jeans. Oh, and the best thing is I had to wear them for PE too, because she even took my PE sweats. Yeah, that's what my mom did. But you know what? At the end of the day, did I ever sag after that? Nope. No more sagging. No more jeans, but no more sagging. So she taught me a very valuable lesson. That the way you look, a lot of people tend to treat you that way. If you look like a bum, if you look like a thug, if you look like whatever you might dress like, whatever you might look like, first impressions are very important because a lot of people base their decision of you on that. And, it's always good to have a good impression or leave a good impression with people. I'm not saying to quit dressing the way you dress. No, you dress however you feel comfortable. You do whatever you want. That's the nice thing about this country. You do whatever you want. If you live in the Bay Area, you can walk around with, assless chaps and nobody's going to look at you twice. But my thing is that she taught me that perception of people of you is very important. And she taught me that lesson, very painful lesson, but it helped me out in the end. Most people don't do that. And that's the way she thought. That's the way, we're in a new country. So she started adapting herself to the way she did things with us. Because she knew that the approach that she had in El Salvador wasn't going to really work over here. Especially being by herself without the support of a spouse or a father, to help raise her children. So, that's part of my American dream, coming over here and learning that my mother, instead of, using corporal punishment like I was so used to, she started switching it up on us because we're in a different country and we needed to change. So that's my tale for my American dream this time around. Thanks for joining me. On next week, we'll talk about something else growing up, but keep that in mind. First impressions are important. If you have any questions, comments, jokes, let me know. Love to hear from you. Until then, take care. Bye.